Don't mind me, my trash can keeps opening. I don't... So yeah, we were talking Avengers gameplay, and I was talking about how the gameplay looks good and serviceable, I guess. I don't know. I can't help but feel like that all my problems with this game are not with what can be demonstrated in a demo, but more needs to be said about how this game is going to operate and monetized and as a live service game.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel about the gameplay from what you might have been able to glimpse?
Oh, it was beyond cutscene earlier.
Oh, okay.
Or, I mean, PowerPoint earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beyond that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got a screen literally every, 30 seconds to a minute. Looking at it here, which granted, it's in the Iron Man segment there. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that looks too much like a Star Fox game more than an Iron Man concept.
Well, the weird thing is this is a transition because Iron Man does have, normal gameplay, as you're about to see.
Okay, now that I'm fine with.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
It isn't one hit and you're down. It's multiple hits. I'm okay with that. That Unibeam takes an eternity to charge up, and I don't like that. Like a literal eternity.
Well, okay. To be fair, normally Iron Man's Unibeam does take a few seconds to kind of go.
Yeah.
It is a more charge up move. So
I know,
that's not horrible.
Yeah, I still think it takes a little too long. Okay, come on. Let's get this fired off and be done. Because I'm not sure how our difficulty is going to be in this game. Because if it's too difficult, I'm I probably don't want to use the Unibeam because I could probably die before that Unibeam gets off. Yeah, the Hulk stuff you're about to see, I think it's the most solid gameplay, I feel like.
You know, I'm probably gonna regret saying something like this because you never know what'll happen. But is it kind of bad that I almost feel like this probably should be canonically tied into the MCU stuff?
I mean, maybe if you wanted it to be that way, but I'm of the mindset of it doesn't have to.
Right, I mean, I get that, but it's one of those, there's too many similarities that it's we should have just went 100% into it.
Yeah.
If we're not going to change enough to where the average person isn't going to sit there and look at that and be like, oh, this is the MCU characters, isn't it? Then that's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's at the point where I feel like it is with this game. It's one of those, I don't know, I feel like that's a minor complaint, but at the same time, it's still a complaint kind of deal.
Yeah.
It's like
at the very least, we're getting
100% in on it, or we should have purposely did something to where it didn't feel like it was the same ones.
Yeah. At least from the teaser we got for Ant-Man, it's different. But I don't know if that's a good different or a bad different.
Because, I mean, you can't tell me that they can't do all of the characters in not necessarily a completely different fashion, but at least in a fashioned so that you're like, okay, this definitely is not the MCU characters.
Yeah, they could do that. We've had plenty of games that feel very different. Like Marvel Ultimate Alliance is very much more comic book, and then this is, and it like you can't look at that and go, oh, that's MCU, unless you're looking at the Ant-Man suit, which looks just pulls straight out of the MCU, but it's this weird cross section of sorts, but it still pulls off its own identity. This, not so much.
This, yeah. Like, this almost feels like they should just went 100% in on it being the same.
Yeah. It might have helped if they had a not literally the core Avengers cast off the bat. Like, I know we have a little bit of difference because Kamala Khan's in this, and Kamala Khan seems to be, like, more central to the story. And, of course, she's Miss Marvel. But still, I'm like, maybe throw a couple poor people in here for variety. Like, I don't know. I get why we need to keep it to 5, because we want the core, like a core team representing the Avengers. And since we are taking Captain America off the table for a little bit after this level, like, you have your core 4 multiplayer characters to come.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you could have done another, at least take on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because, truthfully speaking, out of all of them, Cap is probably the only one that looks different, and it's not a good different either.
Yeah, no, he's like, I mean, come on, Cap, come on, like
at least with this Cap, though, you can tell it is not MCU Cap.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I give them props for that, but why didn't they go ahead and flesh that out to everyone? Like, that's the little fine point that I'm like, eh.
Yeah, Caps looks like the most solid besides Hulk's. I like that that it's more about like utilization of the shield and bouncing it back and forth. I'm not sure how automatic that is. Like, maybe it'd be cool if it's like timing based, where it's like, oh, you can get more bounces and stuff if you like time your attacks well. By the way, hi Kamala. Yeah, you should be seeing Taskmaster in a little bit, and I think he's the worst looking, because I'm like, come on, Taskmaster, you could look better than this.
What kind of cheesy mask did they decide to throw on him?
Yeah, no, that looks like a hockey mask. Come on. Like, I mean, he has a cool sword, and that's about the most I'm going to give this Taskmaster. It's like, he's got a really good sword. I mean, he looks like he just grabbed a bunch of regular tactical gear for the rest of his outfit, and it's just like, okay, I got the sword, I got the cape, and the cow, and that's all we got the budget for me.
The rest of him looks like what I would expect, kind of deal. That mask was like, oh my god, no, why?
Yeah.
Like that looks like fake plastic, kind of hockey mask, not really meant to do anything but just hide his face kind of concept.
Yeah, MCU Taskmaster looks like way better than this than in concept. Like, let me grab this so you can.
If they didn't make it so, if they didn't have so much glow on the mask, it probably wouldn't be as bad. But like, okay, wow, thank you trailer for actually even throwing that in there too. Even in like dim lighted areas, that darn mask has a glow on it. Why? Yeah. If we'd toned that down, that might have looked better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's MCU Taskmaster in concept art at least, and it looks a little better. Like, you don't have the cape, but you got the cowl, the mask. Not quite skull-like, but looks better, I feel like, than this.
I still don't really care for that one, though, either.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually looking at that, why do I feel like this was supposed to be something to tie into the MCU?
Maybe at one point, because, like, bear in mind, this game has been announced since about 2 or 3 years ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, at some point this was, at some point, potentially an MCU tie-in. But they scrapped that in order to go an original route.
Or maybe Disney said no.
That too.
Because honestly, looking at the similarities for Taskmaster 2, it's like, that looks really close.
Yeah. I feel like the armor is better designed in MCU than it is here. Because this looks like just regular tactical gear. That looks like an actual armor to be expected from the MCU. Because it has the layering and the details you'd come to expect.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm almost wondering now if that might have been the case. Maybe they pitched this originally as a tie-in for the MCU.
Yeah,
also, I want to mention this too. The concept art you gave, plus this fight in particular right here, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those hilarious coincidences because the Black Widow movie will have Taskmaster as the villain.
I just find that immensely funny that is the case, and the gameplay we have is literally probably the exact same fight.
Yeah, because fighting on a bridge. That's a hilarious coincidence, to be honest.
Oh boy.
But I don't know, like, it just becomes back to the point of, like, this is a live service game. All of my problems are just under the hood technical stuff. In terms of how is this live service game going to act? How are the updates going to be? How is it going to be out of the box day one? How is it going to be update-wise over the course of, like, into its first year? It's all the live service questions that are not being focused on right now, and that's where I'm worried. Also, this is pretty much where the cutscenes came in from the trailer, so... So Cap is thought to be dead, Thor leaves his hammer at his statue, the Avengers are disassembled, and from what I've read, apparently a few years later, AIM is pushing some initiative because they've gotten a bit of control. They're the ones responsible for the robots you see there. And I guess they'll be the villains for the game. as the Avengers come back together and try to set things right and figure out, well, what the fuck happened? Yeah, that's where we're at. They're definitely looking to push more information, especially like close to the start of next year. I think co-op stuff is the focus, like start of next year. Yeah, any other thoughts on Avengers?
No.
All right. Next up, detailing a weird, like part of the next Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Or no, my bad. Nope, I skipped an article. Oops. My bad. I skipped an article. No, we're talking Insomniac being bought by Sony, and I don't think this should come to anyone's surprise. Like, Insomniac has only ever made 2 games, I believe, like modern day 2 games that were not just for a PlayStation console. And that was Sunset Overdrive that was Xbox One exclusive until it got put on Steam, I believe. And then Song of the Deep, which was multi-platform.
I didn't realize that Sunset Overdrive got put on Steam.
Yeah, it got put on Steam like months ago.
I did not realize that.
Yep.
That is actually a very underrated game.
Yeah. It's almost like Insomniac Games is a really good developer. But yeah, Sony's bought Insomniac. They are now pretty much a first-party studio now, and I assume they're working on the next Spider-Man game because Spider-Man sold stupidly well.
Either that, or they're working on making sure that Spider-Man runs on PS5 really good.
I mean, that too. I also hope that, like, it's not the only thing they're going to be working on, because I'm like, hey, you can make another Ratchet & Clank game and make it a really good Ratchet & Clank game. Just go put that out there. You still have that. And for those of you who liked Resistance, like, hey, you could make another Resistance game. I probably would have liked 3 people who still like Resistance. But yeah, that was just a really quick one. It was big enough news that Jeff Keighley had to interrupt his opening day Gamescom press conference showcase thing to be like, oh yeah, this just happened. But any other thoughts?
No.
All right then. The thing I was starting to, but accidentally wasn't supposed to yet. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics 2020 has a retro mode, kind of, for certain sports. And okay, this is just me, or is it weird to see the 8-bit sprites for Mario next to the 16-bit sprites for Sonic?
A little bit, yeah.
Because for reference, if you're looking at the trailer, it's consistent. It's all of the Marios are 8-bit, but all the Sonics are 16-bit. Could you not have used the SNES sprites for Mario and crew?
So we're having console wars at its finest.
Yes. I mean, otherwise this looks kooky and kind of interesting as a weird thing to throw in for the next Olympics game. I don't know, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm not too interested in the Olympic Games anyhow.
Yeah, they're just this little weird one-off thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, another little quick one. Anyway, who's ready for a batch of Gamescom news? We're probably interested in about a quarter of it, because there was not a whole lot of interesting stuff here, to be honest. This is all coming from Jeff Keighley's opening night at Gamescom, so it covers a lot of news to come out of Gamescom. I think this is where a lot of the primary news came out of, to be honest. We had another look at Gears 5, a focus on the Horde mode. Confirmation that 2 Halo Reach characters are coming to Gears 5 as characters, because Gears 5's Horde mode is going to be more character-based, because characters will have different abilities and stuff. Do you care to guess which 2 Spartans from Halo Reach are in Gears 5?
I know, but I can't remember.
It is Kat and not George, not the guy with the big turret, skull one. Emil? Yes, Emil. Yes, Emil. They will both have different abilities, and so will other characters for the Horde mode. It's also going to be more about like moving around the map and managing resources. They went into a lot of the Horde mode stuff. It looks really cool. Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out next year. It's under a new developer because the original developer for Kerbal Space Program got bought up by Steam. Or not Steam, by Valve. So they're, I guess, stuck not doing Kerbal Space Program, so this is on a new developer. Nothing gameplay-wise there, just a little CG trailer announcing it. Need for Speed Heat got some gameplay, and it's a Need for Speed game. The only notable thing is there's a mobile app now for you to customize your cars on. If you want to do it pre-launch, it will carry over into the game. Little Nightmares 2 got announced. I don't remember a release date. I don't think they said a release date. Next year. This is a little horror game that came out a while back. Super Mario Brothers played it, and that's how I know about it. It's an interesting little game, but a unique art style. It looked really good. THQ Nordic is bringing back Comanche, a helicopter game. Who here remembers Comanche? Because I can almost guarantee you that like most people don't. I didn't even know this, and like they were like, "Oh, this old franchise is coming back," and I'm like, how many people even know this exists or care? So that's here. Another little CG trailer. Nothing super to write home about, unfortunately. The Cycle. Game pitch of some PvPvE combat. I didn't see this one. I kind of was tuning in and out because I was busy with other stuff at the moment when it was happening. It looks a little interesting from what I'm glancing. Monster Hunter Iceborne got shown off some more. That still looks good as always. Predator Hunting Grounds got a little bit of gameplay shown off. It looks fine. Asynchronous multiplayer has unfortunately not been the best in the last couple years, so we'll have to wait and see. Humankind coming from Sega, and it's got a weird trailer. I think it's kind of Civ-like or Civilization-like. I got a weird trailer where you had a Cro-Magnon human doing DJ stuff. So there's that. So if you're looking for another like Civilization-like game, that's there. Life is Strange 2 Episode 4 got a trailer. Borderlands 3 had some of its in-game shown off called Proving Grounds, which are more, I think, just arena-like challenges for really good loot. The Witcher on Switch, which does not look as good compared to the PC version. And honestly, it looks kind of bad. Like, Witcher is probably the last game that needs to come to Switch. Have you seen Witcher on Switch?
No.
Oh, you probably don't. It looks bad. Darksiders Genesis was shown off again after its announcement. It's a Diablo-like game, because Darksiders can't make up what genre it is. first it's a Zelda clone, and then it continues to be a Zelda clone until it decides to be a Dark Souls clone, and now it's Diablo clone. Everspace 2 got some details. Disintegration got announced. CG trailer. It looked very much like Destiny, but someone else doing it. Like literally Destiny, but somebody else is doing it. Yeah, Sony acquires Insomniac. Magic the Gathering is coming to an Epic Game Store. Or Magic the Gathering Arena coming to Epic Game Store this winter. Port Royale 4 was also shown off. Another Civ-like game. I'm just going to skip through some of these, to be honest. Modern Warfare has a 2v2 elimination alpha this weekend. I saw someone play a little bit of it. It looks like a Call of Duty game. I don't know. I'm not the best judge for Call of Duty these days. I'm just like, it's Call of Duty. I don't know what you're expecting. We have a new FMV game called Erica that's actually available now on PlayStation. I am all for more FMV games. And finally, more Death Stranding. We got some trailers shown off and a bit of gameplay. And it's... You know the wandering parts of Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
We're just kind of going from point to point and like accomplishing little small objectives. That's Death Stranding. Except instead of climbing, you know how you traverse like vertical landscapes?
Yeah.
You just pop out a ladder that'll just extend up. And you just climb the ladder. Also, you can take a piss in certain location or in just wherever, and after you're done pissing, a mushroom pops out of the ground where you pissed on, and if more players in like a Dark Souls, or I assume a Dark Souls like connectivity, piss in that same place, like a bigger mushroom will pop up and like something great will happen if enough people do that in one location. Look, this is Kojima, and I am surprised that people are like, this looks weird and quirky, and I'm like, guys, did you not pay attention to all the weird and quirky parts of Metal Gear Solid? Okay, this is just me. I'm not really interested in Death Stranding. It seems like way off the deep end, like well past the point where I'm like, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. Yeah, anything you're interested in there? It's not the most exciting of lineups, to be honest.
Not really, no.
Yeah. But in better news, we have Pokemon news for Sword and Shield, but no new Pokemon to talk about. It's all abilities and items and stuff.
Well then.
Yeah, because this came out at the World Championships, so it's a bit more competitive focused. More or less, we have 2 new items, Room Service and a Jetpack. Room Service lowers the holder's speed on the stage when Trick Room is in effect. And a Jetpack causes the holder to switch out when their stats are lowered. Kind of interesting. And we have some new abilities. Valerian Wheezing's ability is Neutralizing Gas, which pretty much nullifies the effects of abilities in combat when it's on the field. So if you have an ability that's going to be triggered, no. And then we have Corbinite's hidden ability, Mirror Armor, which causes any stat lowering effects to be applied to the Pokemon that tried to use the effect instead of the user, or instead of Corviknight. So it reflects it back at him. And we got Breaking Swipe as a new move. It targets all Pokemon and lowers their attack. And Pokemon Cotton Max Raid battles might have their hidden abilities. So I guess you'll be grinding out Max Raid battles if you want hidden abilities.
Hold on.
Dynamax Band is an item that a trainer can have, and it's what allows Dynamaxing. It's not a held item on Pokemon. We got we have a ranked system for online play now, which it will be good for ranked players, and that's kind of the broad strokes of it all. There's a few more like Dynamaxing moves in there, but yeah, kind of it. Any interest in all of the more competitive Pokemon news?
Not so much.
Yeah,
kind of more on the would rather have new Pokemon kind of deal.
Yeah, I did in listening to Game Informer's podcast this weekend. One of the people on there was at the World Championships and was talking about his experience there, and he got to talk to some competitive people about the whole national decks and all that whole situation. And a lot of competitive players aren't broken up about it, since competitive play is region decks only most of the time, so that's not a big deal. There is an interest in Dynamaxing and like shaking up the meta and like making some Pokemon really competitive viable now. So there's that to look forward to. So at least on the competitive front, there is like more interest in Sword and Shield than I feel like than casual, I guess. Or I guess hopes are higher from competitive people than it is casual people. But that is kind of it. Which takes us to releases. Oh god, there are so many releases.
All the releases.
I was showing this list to my mom today, just to like demonstrate. It's like, we have hit release season for video games, because I showed this list to her, and then I pulled up the PC list for the same time frame. Oh my god, there are so many PC releases. I think it's at least double to 2.5 times this list for just the same time frame.
And that I don't doubt one bit at all.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Also, I forgot to actually zoom this in. I forgot I always do that on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's hard to read.
I'm trying to make sure it's the text is a good size most of the time.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, though, when Google zooms the page out, makes it hard.
All right, we are going to pick up on the 26th with Pacific Wings for PlayStation 4, Tokyo Chronos for PlayStation 4, and Wreckfest Deluxe Edition for Xbox One. On the 27th, we've got Bubsy's Plaza Fire Limited Edition, Limited Run Games variant cover on Switch. Control, big game release, very PsyOps looking game. I am really interested in it and hope it's really good. For Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Collection of Mana for Switch, Prize Star for PlayStation 4, Deadlings for Switch, Decay of Logos for PlayStation 4, 8-Minute Empire for Switch, Esports Manager for Switch, Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger on X, Collector's Edition for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Human Anatomy VR for PlayStation 4. Excuse me. Hunt Showdown for Xbox One, Invisigun Reloaded for PlayStation 4, Jump Force, Katsuko Baku, and Majin Buu DLC for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Knights and Bikes for PlayStation 4. Legend of Skyfish for PlayStation 4 and Vita. MXGP 2019 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Strength of the Sword Unlimited for PlayStation 4. The Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And Whipsy and the Lost Atlas for Switch. And Wreckfest for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. On the 28th, we have Air Memories of Old for Switch, Headspun for Xbox One, Hookbots for Xbox One and Switch, Kamako for Xbox One, Pantsu Hunter back to the 90s for PlayStation 4, Vita, and Switch, Subarara City for Xbox One, and Vambrace Cold Soul for Xbox One. Ugh. On the 29th, we have Agent A Puzzle in Disguise for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Brunch Club for Switch, Bubsy Paws on Fire for Switch, Damascus Gear Operation Osaka for Switch, Decay of Logos for Switch, Grand Brick Shooter for Switch, Heave Ho for Switch, Hookbots for PlayStation 4, Invasion of Alien X Earth in Crisis for Switch, Just Cause 4 Danger Rising for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Little Racer for Switch, Omen Exito Plague for Switch, The Lord of the Rings Adventure Card Game for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch, Vambrace Cold Soul for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Waltz of the Wizard for Extended Edition for PlayStation 4, Whipsy and the Lost Atlas for PlayStation 4, and Willamot's Warehouse for Switch. On the 30th, we have Astral Train for... God damn it. I keep calling it Astral Train, and it's Astral Chain. Fuck. Damn
you keep doing that.
Vowels. Astral Chain for Switch. Really good. Early impressions are saying it's really good. It got a 37 out of 40 on Famitsu. So we're looking really good for that. I might be picking that up and playing it on my own time, though. Blair Witch for Xbox One, a big E3 announcement. Decay of Logos for Xbox One, Hero Express for PlayStation 4, Newt 1 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Pool Nation for PlayStation 4, Remothered Tormented Fathers for Switch, Revenant Dogma for PlayStation 4 and Vita, and The Dark Pictures Man of Medan for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That is the new game that is a part of an anthology collection that the Until Dawn developers are doing. So if you really liked Until Dawn, you might check this out, because this is going to be a part of an anthology series that they are doing. On September 3rd, we have Blindfold for PlayStation 4, Catherine Full Body Launch Edition for PlayStation 4, Children of Morta for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Finn and the Ancient Mystery for Switch, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Phoenix Point for Xbox One, Root Letter Last Answer for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Spyro Reignited Trilogy for Switch, and Torchlight 2 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, and WRC 8 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Ugh, almost done. On the 5th, we have Headliner Novi News for Switch, Hyper Forma for Switch, River City Girls for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, another really good looking game. That looks really good. Space Crows for Switch. And finally, on September 6th, we have Creatures in the Well for Xbox One and Switch, Gears 5 Ultimate Edition for Xbox One, Gun Pixies for Switch, Monster Hunter Iceborne Master Edition Deluxe and the DLC Iceborne itself for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, NBA 2K20 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Super Jumpy Ball for Switch, and the Angry Birds Movie 2 VR Under Pressure for PlayStation 4. Oh god, this is only going to get worse.
As it always does.
Yeah. Which takes us to quick draws, and mine is going to be the article I mentioned like a couple days ago, because I didn't have anything else, where somebody from Poke Jungle actually dug through a lot of the Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon data and noticed a certain anomaly about it, where Coughing and Zigzagoon actually received egg moons, or new egg moves in those games, but weren't available in them, which is fairly strange. He's also noticed that certain Pokemon got stat changes as well when they weren't available in these games. Again, weird coincidence. So he's more or less taken all of this information, all of the egg move updates, the move pool changes, the stat changes, their availability in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, compiled it together, and has come up with a list of Pokemon that, based off these changes, could very well be the Pokemon to come in Galarian form for Sword and Shield. And also, just to doubly make sure, just add another data point, he's also crossed off Pokemon that have appeared in trailers. So none of these Pokemon have appeared in any official trailer for Sword and Shield yet. As of the writing of this article 3 days ago. So with all this data in mind, here is the short list of who qualifies under this front. We have Bidoof. We have Bouffalant. Chimcho. Darumaka. Deerling. Farfetch. Griffering. Eloise. Pansage. Panseer. Hatterat. Roselia. Shelmoot. Spirit Tome. Spritzy. Tangela. Whismur. Zigzagoon. Now, you notice that Coughing is not in that list, but that's because he had an egg move shared with another Pokemon, in this case, Tempole. And that short list has Blitzel and Hawlucha sharing one, Carnivine and Scraggy sharing one, Ladybug and Patil sharing one, Ponyta and Phanpy, Swirlix and Jupiter, Volby on his own, and Yamask and Chimcho. Now, for reference why in this article Farfetch'd is bold, it's because I believe based off leaks and rumors that have called information that has already come out for Sword and Shield, Farfetch is in that information of getting a Galarian form. So it's more or less, I think, considered confirmed that Farfetch is getting a Galarian form or a Galarian form evolution. It just hasn't been announced yet. So I guess take this as a third confirmation that this method seems to be working. And for all of the specific data, he lists a table here giving all the necessary information for all that and many more Pokemon who also may or may not confirm this if they don't have hit 3 data points, which is that list I read off before. So if they only hit 2, they're still listed in the table. So, this is a lot of work, but I appreciate it. So, how are you feeling seeing this short list of Pokemon? Any standouts of, maybe I would like to see that?
Not directly, actually. I mean, maybe seeing Ponyta would be neat.
Yeah. I feel like Bidoof is there. I feel like I want to see Bidoof because memes.
True.
Does I feel like that's the meme one? But it's kind of interesting that some of these it's interesting to see 2/3 of the elemental monkeys from Gen 6 are here, but not Pampor? Yeah, Pampor. We're missing the water one, which is very odd. Which might mean that they're not going to be the case. But you can probably take them off the list since Panapor is not here, but Pansage and Panseer are. That feels like a real outlier. Spiritomb being here is... Spiritomb feel like an odd Pokemon since he doesn't evolve, but he feels significant. So I kind of want to say that might be one.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it might actually take Ponyta off the table too. Because Rapidash isn't in there. Why would we have a special Galar form for one and not have both?
True, but I don't think Weezing is in here, is he?
No.
Yeah, so I wouldn't count on that one since Coughing is here. Also, is any of Zigzagoon's evolution in here?
I have no idea.
No. Yeah, no, it's not. It's only mentioned up top. It's not in all the data. which is so maybe not. I think the question is like, take a look at a lot of the base form Pokemon and a lot of the non-evolution Pokemon and take it from there. That might be like where this data is more focused.
Probably.
And maybe those didn't. But yeah, I'm like, this data is convincing, and I like that someone is trying to find a method and or has noticed an anomaly in the data and is going, okay, what does this mean? And has put in work to not only collect that data, but contextualize that data and go, okay, we have this data, but what does it mean? And we have more data that tells us, okay, maybe this means this. Because we have two things to compare this data to, and it's like, okay, this seems to be working, so I guess check back in a couple months and we'll see how well this handles, or how well this shakes out. But any other thoughts?
No.
Alright, that's all my quick draws got, and you don't have a quick draw, correct?
Take it as someone doesn't look at the article list, because I actually updated.
I know, it says that, but do you show the article list on stream?
No.
That's why I say that. For reference to those listening.
I always figure, we do kind of link the articles.
Well, at least in audio form, it is stated that is the case. I try to make sure it's stated in audio. You don't have quick draw if you don't.
Okay. But no, I don't.
Okay. That felt like a longer podcast than usual.
Thanks, Gio.
Yeah, thanks, Gio.
But the only useful thing that show's done.
Yep. Also, I might have fun highlighting stuff because you know how you hooked up when Twitch was disconnected?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, guess what's rolled into one now?
I mean, that's not that bad.
Yeah, I'll have to go in and, like, separately highlight them, but... Yay! Yeah, with that said, tomorrow we are doing those recap we were going to do last week, this week. So we can then next week do the movie. That's how it's shaking out to be.
Yep.
Oops. Sorry, folks. We're going to leave you on a cliffhanger after not doing a show for a week.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. Good one.
I can't.
That's all I gotta say.
I can't help it. We'd like to do another set of episodes and then do the movie because I guarantee you there's going to be a cliffhanger there. Because we're smack dab in the middle of the end of O's, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't help it that Ryder likes to do the movies towards the end of its run, and we have to pick at some point in the batch of 4 episodes when to do it. We're going to hit this problem when we get to Forza. Spoilers, we're doing O's after Forza.
Reverse that.
Yeah, okay, oops. Yeah, I can't. Damn it.
Oops.
Yep. So, that's tomorrow. This next week is kind of going to be the same as it was last week, really. More Yakuza 0, more Fire Emblem 3 Houses for me. More Minish Cap on Friday. Saturday. Saturday?
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. Worst case, it'll be Fortnite.
Yeah.
Because why not? Yeah.
But that'll do us for Tommy. I'm Peace. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for TGSR.